Hello everybody and welcome to the new tutorial. This is the one that lots of you have been waiting for. It is the diamond granny blanket. So obviously this is one that I started the other day. I've worked up just about enough for you to be able to see the beginnings of the pattern. So obviously the traditional granny will form diamonds here, and then the solid sides will form solid diamonds. So I really hope that you enjoy the tutorial. I will leave a link below for this beautiful flat seamless join. So that is the other side, so you can see it's a really excellent, almost invisible stitch to join your granny squares together, and that way you really do get the full effect of those beautiful diamonds. So I'm just going to be using some leftover cotton that I have. So you're going to start with the slip knot on your hook as normal. Let me just zoom back in a little bit. And again, this is a square that will be part of the pick and mix granny square series. So obviously you can use these just to create the diamond blanket, or you can mix and match them with all of the others in the pick and mix granny square series. They all have the same stitch count at the end. So we want to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this tutorial, if you're not familiar with doing UK treble stitches, then just go and get used to doing those, because I'm not going to be going that slowly. So we've chained 4 and now we're going to slip stitch into that very first chain. So you're going to insert your hook and then yarn over and pull through both of those loops, and now we've got that little center ring to work into. So you're going to chain 2, and that counts as our very first treble. So please remember that all the way through this tutorial I am using UK terms, so when I say treble, if you're elsewhere in the world, it is your double crochet. So that chain 2 counts as the first one. So now we want 2 more trebles into that center ring. So yarn over, and again you're going to insert your hook into that very center ring, yarn over and pull up. You'll have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1. So we want 1 more. So yarn over, back into that center circle, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is the very first of our granny clusters. So you want to create a corner now by chaining 2, and then back into this center ring we're going to do 3 more sets of granny clusters. So a granny cluster is just 3 trebles. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, that's 1. 2, 3. Again, create the corner, so chain 2, and then you're going to do 2 more granny clusters. So I will leave you to do 2 more of those sets of 3 trebles, and that is where I will meet you in just a moment. Okay, so now I have 4 sets of my granny clusters. So 1, chain 2, 2, corner, 3, corner, 4. So you want to chain 2 now to create the final corner, and then you're going to slip stitch into the top of this chain 2. So you can see you've got 1 and 2. So just insert your hook into the top of that stitch, yarn over and pull through both of those loops. So that is the very start of your diamond granny. You want to chain 1 and turn your work around, and we're going to slip stitch back into that corner space. So just insert your hook into that corner space and slip stitch. So this, by turning, you are going to create a perfectly square square. I know that might sound crazy, but sometimes if you don't turn, you can end up with a slightly twisted and warped granny at the end of it. So doing that just helps to keep it nice and square. So you're going to chain up 2, again that counts as our first treble stitch, and we're going to do 2 more trebles into this corner space. So into that space you'll do 2 more trebles, 1 and 2. We're going to chain 1 and we're going to jump across this set of trebles, and we're going to work straight into the corner space, and you're going to do a granny cluster, so 3 trebles. 1, 2 and 3. You're going to create your corner by chaining 2, but now if I just bring back the ones that I've been making, obviously every single side of this granny is different. So you start as we did here in the middle, and so we're going to alternate between solid, traditional, solid, traditional. So we have now created that section there. So each corner is going to have a mixture. Each corner is going to have 1 traditional granny and 1 half solid granny. So the traditional granny is always a granny cluster of 3 trebles, whereas the solid granny is only 2 trebles in the corner space. So we've done the first half of this corner, so the second half is going to be the solid granny, which is 2 trebles. So 1 and 2, and then we've got 3 trebles here, and we're going to work into the top of each of those trebles. So 1 treble into the top of each stitch. Make sure you catch that V, make sure you go through the whole of the stitch. So 1, 2 and 3, and then again we're at the corner, so it's going to be a half and half again. So you're going to start the corner off with a solid, which is 2 trebles. So 1, 2. So that is your solid side complete. We're switching back again now, so chain 2 to create your corner space, and now we're switching back to the traditional, so it's 3 trebles, so it's a traditional granny cluster. 2 and 3, chain 1 in between your granny clusters, and then skip over the cluster here to work straight into the corner space. So you're going to do 1 granny cluster, so that's the traditional granny side complete again. So we're switching back, so chain 2, and we're going back to a solid, so you want 2 trebles now into that corner space to finish it off. And then this is the final straight now, and we're going to work into the top of each of these trebles. So 1, 2, 3, and then we just need to finish off this final corner space. So obviously we're finishing with the solid, so you want 2 trebles into that final corner space. Chain 2, never forget to do the chain 2 before you join, and then again as before you would join to the top of that chain 2 with a slip stitch. So there we have now the start of the pattern. Obviously the smaller your square is, the more difficult it may be to see much definition in the pattern, but you could obviously use as tiny a square as you wish. So I will do 1 more round with you now, and then after that you should be able to continue and make this blanket as big as you want, or you can make smaller squares to join together. It is completely up to you. So again, you will chain 1 and turn your work and slip stitch back into that corner space. And then every time now you're literally just going to repeat what is there already. So you will have a solid side, so you will do a solid edge again. So you will chain 2, which will count as your first treble, and then 1 treble back into that chain space. So you always have 2 trebles for the solid round, and then 1 treble into the top of each stitch along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then again, you're going to finish off your solid with 2 trebles in the corner space. Chain 2, and then switch to your traditional granny, so it will be 3 trebles for the second half of the corner. Chain 1, jump across your granny cluster to the next chain 1 space and do another cluster, so 3 trebles. Chain 1, and then granny cluster in the corner space. 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and switch to your solid, so 2 trebles, and then 1 treble, in every stitch. And then again, corner space, so 2 trebles, 1 and 2, chain 2, and switch back to the traditional. So 3 trebles in the corner space, chain 1, and then granny cluster in the chain 1 space. Chain 1, and final cluster in that corner space. So I've got my 3 trebles, so I'm going to chain 2 and slip stitch to the top of that beginning chain 2 that we did. Okay, so that now, so let's just move that. That is how you should be looking now. So obviously you can see the slightly bigger your granny square gets, the more definition you get. So it's pretty obvious now that these are going to create some beautiful diamonds with the traditional and with the solid. And like I say, if I just bring back the one that I've started, you can see, let's see, how many rounds did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4. I did 5 rounds for these particular squares. But obviously you can do as few or as many as you like, and then join them together with that beautiful invisible slip stitch join. I will leave the link for that tutorial down below. But I'm really happy with how this pattern is working up. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful, and I'm really excited to see to start getting tagged on Instagram when you make these beautiful diamond granny blankets. I really can't wait to see what colours and things that people come up with. But for this beautiful diamond granny square blanket tutorial, that is it. You can pause, rewind, watch that last couple of rounds again if you need to, but you should be able now to create your very own blanket, and then also have a look through the channel and have a look at the border series if you're looking for inspiration for how to finish off your blanket. Do check out that as well. But I will see you for another tutorial very soon. Bye for now.